Hey, welcome to Beats, Beds, and Browns. I'm Joe Cudi. I couldn't be more excited to have Eddie Yuma here with us. Thank you for coming, man. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me, bro.
I know we tried to work on this last year. We just got a little bit messed up with schedules, but couldn't be more pleased to have you on the site and chopping it up here. So, just like we do with all of our guests, we start with where you come from, where you've been, and where you're going.
Definitely. I'm from Rogers Park. I was born in Evanston, in the hospital downtown Evanston. My family is from Cuba. I grew up in a Cuban household. I'm the first generation born here. And Northside, Rogers Park specifically, just made me who I am. I realized how unique it is different after visiting a lot of different places. So I owe all of my uniqueness and the things that kind of made me meet to Rogers Park for sure.
There's only one you, man. Don't hide from it, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Nice. How long have you been at it? How long have you been trying to be in the hip hop game?
So I've been making music since I was 17. So since 2013, 2014.
All right, talk a little bit about the journey. And, has it been an easy path for you? Has there been challenges?
Like anything in life, man, I think challenges are part of the road if it's something that you feel is worth doing or important to you. It's definitely been eye-opening. At first I was very much just focused on just writing and recording and not really getting into the world of producing. But because of COVID, I've learned to produce and record myself only because I had to. That came out of necessity. So, things haven't been super easy, but at the same time, I'm grateful for that because it's created a lot of cool things and learned a lot from it.
Well, sure, the ability to write, perform, produce, multi-threat talent.
Yes, sir. Yes, nice. Sir.
Where do you get your inspiration from? How do you come up with lyrics? How do you decide, where things need to end in terms of your starting process?
Yeah, for me, it all starts with the feeling. I am inspired a lot by, today's greats, Pharrell, Kanye, Kendrick, Jay. I listened to a lot of underground music at first when I was really interested in writing. It was a group called, they're called Pro Era, so that, at the time that was Joey Badass, Capital Steez. Knowing that they were young, around my age, 17, and being successful at rapping and making actual music that connected with people, I thought, why couldn't I do it? For me, it all just starts with the feeling, though. I usually start with, if I'm producing myself, I start off with a beat, and then I go from there based off what feels right. I always just try to keep it authentic, so what I'm feeling in that moment is what I'm going to put down that path.
Fair enough, yeah. And we always talk with artists about whether it's the lyrics that come first or the beats that come first. From what your perspective is you got a beat in your head and you're filling the space with the lyrics.
Exactly. I think that sonics are important. I was listening to somebody talk about their experience listening to Kendrick's new album, and there's so many layers that I feel like the first time you go through anything that has a lot of layers, you're kind of just there experiencing the base of it. And the first layer, that surface level, is usually the sonics, and that's what really pulls you in. And then you start to go back and listen, and you find something new every time. So that's usually why I start with the beat, because I want the feeling to be there of what I felt, or try to have somebody just get into the mode of what I'm trying to do.
As a consumer, right? I always feel the beat is what captures my attention, and then I mess with the lyrics, So that's interesting to hear that you align with that. Where do you find most of your inspiration?
I like to look into my own life, so I like to talk about where my family came from, talk about how it is to really create something for yourself, and as my family did that for themselves, I want to do it for myself as well. So I always kind of look into the past, also look to where I'm going in the future. So I kind of talk about what I want out of life or what I want to see myself doing years from now. So a lot of it comes from just what I've lived and experienced, but also from time to time, I'll pull from media and entertainment that I really like. I'm really big into comics and movies. So this current thing that I'm doing, which is I call it the off-world era, is inspired heavily by movies like Blade Runner, Aliens, Matrix. A lot of that cyberpunk aesthetic and cinematic futuristic feel I wanted to bring to the sonics and themes of the music I'm working on right now.
Interesting. So those are projects yet to come?
Yeah, so the way that I'm trying to release this project, I feel like as an up-and-coming artist, the conventional, I'm going to drop this album, this 10 or so songs, I feel like it is not as effective as dropping each song one by one, and then kind of creating the era versus, oh, I just dropped the album. Because I want people to consume everything, especially since I'm up and coming. Like, you know, I don't have the biggest following for people to be like, I'm gonna listen to that all the way through. I want to kind of get people and encourage them to do that by dropping each song one by one. But the whole era is definitely inspired by that sci-fi set that I'm going for.
Nice. What does that do in terms of your current music, the current listening pleasure? How is that going to change for you?
It's going to be a lot more consistent release. Like, I used to be somebody who would drop a song or drop a project and I'd be like, okay, I gotta work on the next one. With a lot of the things I'm doing now, it's like I'm making sure I have a bunch of stuff prepared ahead of time, so you're just gonna see and feel my presence for as long as these songs are coming out. But this time around, I'm also just planning the next stuff ahead. So I think it's gonna be a lot of really cool content, specifically videos. I just put out a video with my brother Momo Khan. He directed it. I had a lot of my friends starring in it. And it's probably the best video that I've ever put out. All thanks to him and his really, crazy ideas.
Nice. So you got your team around you, lyrics are in line, production's in line, now you've got the marketing piece.
Yes.
As an independent artist,
Yes.
where do you see the most traction in songs that you release? Is it YouTube? Is it Spotify? Is it SoundCloud?
Historically, it used to be Apple Music, but because of this latest release, I've seen a lot of traction on Spotify and a lot of Eastern European countries. So shout out to everybody who has been listening from over there.
Yeah, you've gone global.
Yeah,
like
it's crazy, yeah.
Well, that's the benefit of distribution, right? Is you put it out there and wherever they are, they can consume it.
Yeah, I think that that's the cool thing about nowadays too, is like music and any kind of content can travel anywhere thanks to the internet, and kind of just being a little bit more mindful of what your intentions are. It's really cool to see how far you can reach nowadays.
Would you consider yourself more of a studio artist or a performing artist or more of a writer behind the scenes producer type?
I genuinely feel like I'm all of those, only because I love every aspect of it. I definitely prefer to work in my space. I used to work in studios a lot. I would pay the studio time, and I had great experiences with them, but at the same time, like, there's nothing like having your own time, like you being in your own space and saying, I'm gonna take my time with this because I want it to come out this way. Versus when you're paying for studio time, sometimes you're kind of rushed and you're like, I have 2 hours, I can only afford 2 hours, I'm gonna finish this in that 2 hours. And yeah, that creates cool inspiration and cool like ideas because you're thinking on the fly, but I really prefer to have my time and have my own space. You can kind of hear it in my music, like I would say that project that I put out at home in 2020, 2021, that was all produced in my own room. So you can hear like the difference. If you were to go back and listen to something from like 2018 or 2019, you can hear the difference in my voice. I'm just a lot more comfortable. But I love all of it. I love performing. I love all that.
Yeah, it's funny, even in marketing, media, distribution, the production quality isn't a differentiator. But when you're talking about sound quality and absorbing someone's thoughts and the beats that go with it, it absolutely is.
No, I agree. I think a lot of artists are also just more encouraged to do that nowadays because if you really look at it, you don't need a huge studio with all these instruments to really make anything. Nowadays, a lot of stuff is digitalized. You can do stuff on the computer. You can do stuff on software. You just need the basic stuff, which is like speakers, microphone, an audio interface. Now, obviously, like instruments are still really good, and I prefer analog over digital stuff. But you can really do so much with the software nowadays.
Nice. What about a finished piece? It's no more selling tracks out of your back trunk of your car. Right now, it's how do you get people to the right streaming channel? How do you get them to click on your link? How do you get that traffic generation?
I think good content is the number one thing, right? Like, you want to make sure that what you have is engaging, and like anybody who's been in making music kind of has learned this or will learn this, that just posting your cover or just posting your song on Instagram and saying, go listen now with link in bio, it doesn't really do much, because think about how many other people are doing that. You want to create something that's special, and you're going to be able to do that by just going inside of yourself and figuring out what speaks to you, because there's nobody else, there's only one you. So if you really pull from what's authentic to yourself and create something that feels real, people will sense that, and that will be all that listening and all the traffic, that'll come on its own if you just stay authentic.
Definitely. We talk a lot about influences. Is there anyone that you modeled your career after, or anybody that rings true that you're trying to manifest when you're singing, or is all we get Eddie?
I definitely let my inspirations shine, and I definitely look at people like Freddie Gibbs career-wise. Like, he started in the industry, independent, had a deal, got out of his deal, and realized that independent was the way to go. There's also another artist who I like to model my career kind of after, which is JPEG Mafia, because he is so good at finding his fans and finding his clique of people. Like, you don't need to be a superstar to really make a living. And I'm not trying to be living in a mansion, nothing like that. I just want to be able to feed my family and live happy and free. And I think that once you find your people, that's totally possible. So I definitely try to be myself and be authentic, and artists that do that are who I gravitate towards. And like, there's one person who I really can't I have to mention. I just cannot not mention this person. That's MF Doom. Like, he was such a unique person and really just did what he loved. And as somebody who read comics, seeing like a nerd rapper be successful, it was like, oh, okay, then I can do it too.
I'll never forget, as an MF Doom fan, trying to introduce him to somebody who wasn't a Doom fan.
Yes.
Well, that's too high concept art for me.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling that.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, come on, man,
Yeah.
it's so flame.
The funny thing is like, when I first heard him, it was because Tyler, the Creator, had kind of like covered, but also like made his own song based around the song One Beer. So he used the same sample, but made his own instrument. And I played that for somebody, and there was a mutual friend who was like, that's not original, that's not his song. I was like, what? So he played me MF Doom's One Beer, and I was like, I don't like this. And then I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And I kept going back and listening, and I was like, this is actually
sometimes
amazing.
that stuff that's outside of the boundary takes a minute to feel.
Exactly. That's why I don't feel bad when somebody's like, your music's weird. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
that's fine.
That's actually the best compliment you can give.
Exactly.
I don't sound like everybody else.
Exactly.
Nice. We talk about making it overnight success, the journey versus the destination. What does success look like to you? I know you mentioned being able to provide for your family. The role of content creation in today's modern media environment is changing drastically.
Yeah.
What does success look like for Eddie Yuma?
To me, it's the ability to do things the way that I want, right? Like, you can be a successful artist, and a lot of people are still looking for deals, but the thing is, a lot of these labels are not focused on artist development, right? If I'm the one who's focusing on that myself, I should have to say about how my music is put out, how much money I'm making off my music. So to me, success is like I said, being able to live, like if I was working a 6-figure job, right? Like a decent job out of school, but instead of, it's all coming from my ability to put out music, go on tours, and do it with the people that I really like, people I love. So, I think that's the best definition I can give here.
Yeah, fair enough. You brought up out of school. Were you a good student?
I was. My mom's a teacher, so I had to be a good student. And middle school, I was decent. When I got around around 6th through 8th grade, there's selective enrollment. It's a big thing in Chicago. Like, you gotta get into Lane, you gotta get into Jones. I was trying to study for that, but I was too focused playing Halo, man. I don't know what it was. I hated working on stuff out of school. High school, I was kind of similar. I got decent grades, 2.5 GPA. But then in college, a lot of it, depending if I had a good professor, I was a lot more focused because I was picking the content that I was learning about. So
that's not an uncommon experience. It's the professor or the way they present the topic is what's turning you off, not gaining knowledge about a new subject. And again, we don't pick artists that just are beats and hooks, right? We look for intellectual lyrics, we look for street poets, we look for people that are actually saying something. And I've asked that question in season 2, and everybody's like, yeah, man, if I wanted to be, I could be a good student.
Yeah, that's the part that's crazy. And I think that there needs to be a lot of work done in terms of what you really get once you go to school, once you get your degree. A lot of, careers are very fruitful, and don't get me wrong, but it's also like, why would I do something that I know I don't like just because it's gonna pay well?
Right.
It's not the point of living, you know. So no, I appreciate that because I definitely peeped that when you guys do your interviews. You guys are picking artists that move with intention, that's an authenticity, and I'm glad you guys recognize that. Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah. We appreciate your time. You know, you're the beats portion, obviously. We cover beds and browns here, and gardening in all its formats, from homestead garden to commercial ag interests. Are you a whiskey or a bourbon fan?
I'm definitely more of a whiskey person, just because my godfather in Miami, he kind of put me on. I'm not a huge drinker, but he's like, yo, you gotta make sure you get a good whiskey. You can sip on that, you can mix that with stuff, but he's really about pure alcohol. So when I'm drinking with him, he's really just trying to put me on game on certain things. Because I'm not a huge drinker, like I said, but he is a connoisseur, so
yeah.
I learn from him.
No, I respect that, and we're not by any means advocating for more drinking. It's just one of the things that, again, of those three topics, well, what did we want to learn more about? So, absolutely. What about gardening?
I wish I gardened more. My grandma was really into it, and when we lived in Rogers Park, we had a 2-flat, and she would grow a lot of tomatoes. She was really big into green tomatoes. I would see her plant a lot. I have I guess my cousin's grandpa, he is really big into gardening. He lives in Miami, and he has a jungle in his backyard. Like, it's crazy. He has mango trees, man. I would like to get into it eventually, especially like when I have my own property, for sure. That's something I heard it's very therapeutic, so I'd like to get into it for sure.
Yeah, mental wellness, all that jazz, it's incredible. We'll definitely get you started on the way out. So, in terms of performing, you like performing. Obviously, some people feel bigger is better. Do you have a small venue that you like to perform in? Do you prefer the big spotlights?
I really like. I think that there's a benefit to both. I personally like more intimate settings. I got really hypnotized by going to shows at the Metro, which, you know, for an up-and-coming artist is big, but compared to stuff like stadiums, that's a pretty intimate venue, and that's actually one of my dream venues. I haven't performed there yet. I would really like to. It just feels a lot better. The vibes are crazier because everybody's just focused on, you know, enjoying the performance. But, you know, I see that there's a benefit to all types, but I definitely prefer more intimate settings.
I caught a Most Def show where Kanye showed up at the Metro, man. I was right up on the stage. You know, before anything you could imagine now, it was just the moment to be.
Yes, that's the thing. You can't replicate.
I love small venues.
That's cool.
Well, it's time. The fans ask for it. The entertainers demand it. Hard Hitters and Wig Splitters. Hip-hop lifestyle, 10-second buzzer beaters. Eddie Yuma, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Beef or no beef?
Beef.
Cash or Queens?
Cash.
Big black truck or 6'4"?
Big black truck.
Edibles or flour?
Flour.
Tupac or Biggie?
Biggie.
Bears or Colts?
Bears.
Nike or Champion?
Nike.
All right. Cubs or Sox?
It used to be Cubs, but it's Sox now. Just because all the Cubans are on there. Shout out to all the Cubans.
Okay. There you go. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Ketchup or no ketchup?
No ketchup.
I like it, man. He came prepared. Been studying for his pop quiz.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hot or mild?
Uncle Remus mild.
Uncle Remus mild. Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan.
Jordan, you got her. Ellen or Oprah?
Oprah.
Marvel or DC? You said you were a comic book guy.
DC, Batman 2022 is the best Batman movie ever. Don't at me.
I like it. Bezos or Musk?
Musk.
Chicago splitter here. Jardiniere or Jardinera?
Jardiniere.
All right, finally, vanilla or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. All right, man, you survived the gauntlet.
We did it.
Much obliged. Thank you for that. All right, we're here with One Gotta Go. We've got Eddie Yuma. He survived the gauntlet of Hard Hitters and Wig Splitters. Let's see what he does with One Gotta Go. All right, you ready?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right. Phone, keys, or wallet? One gotta go.
Phone.
Phone, gone. Bell, Biv, or DeVoe?
Bell.
Bell. Ricky, see ya. Mo, Larry, or Curly?
Curly.
Curly. Rock, paper, scissors?
Scissors.
Scissors, gone. Harry, Ron, or Hermione?
Ron.
Ron. Redheaded stepchild syndrome. Fugees, Lauryn Hill, Praz, or Wyclef?
Praz.
Praz. Everybody poor Praz.
Yeah. Dude, those
You can't get rid of Wyclef Lauren. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
no win,
It's
right?
no brainer, yeah.
Bacon, lettuce, or tomato?
Tomato.
Tomato. Luke, Leia, or Han?
Dang. Leia.
Leia. Chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry?
Vanilla.
All right. Faith, hope, or charity?
Faith.
All right. Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok?
Facebook.
Gone. See you, Facebook. All right. One gotta go, one gotta stay. We're gonna roll right into pick your poison. Do you want to plant a seed? We've got chive, cucumber, or acorn squash soaking overnight. We can drop those into some dirt. Or if you wish to transplant, we've got green bean, corn, green bean or corn?
I'll do corn.
Corn. All right, we're going to transplant some corn seed. Be right back in a minute. All right. So, pick your poison. Eddie Yuma has decided to transplant a corn seedling. We've got a couple growing here that we're going to take from and transplant this into the red cup. What I'm going to ask you to do, you've got your gloves on, you're all set. I'm going to ask you to reach in here, dig into the side, and try and get all the way down to the bottom and scoop out that corn stalk.
All the way to the bottom?
If you can.
I think there's it might be tangled. Let me see. This is, okay. I don't want to pull it.
At this point, I think you can pull it.
Oh yeah? I feel like I want to break something.
Yeah.
Do it?
Yeah. There you go. Perfect. Nice speed and everything. That's perfect. You got the whole root. All right. Now set that in the red cup.
Okay.
And then you can either grab handfuls or give a scoop. You want to add some dirt to that.
What if I scoop? Can I scoop?
Yeah, absolutely. There, you get a bonus squash in there too.
Yay.
So the leftover seed from other plantings that we've dumped into the dirt has sprouted, so he leaves with 2 plants. All right, to be fair, give that 40 squirts here,
40.
Get it soaked, and then what you need to do is give that once or twice a day, the equivalent of 40 squirts of water. Right now you're in a pot that doesn't have holes on the bottom, so you can overwater. As you get, as the corn sprouts and continues to grow, you can transfer that into a bigger pot, and I recommend putting it outside just so that pollinates and gets you the actual ear of corn. But
About how long does that usually take?
they say knee high by 4th of July.
Really? Hey, my grandma's gonna be happy.
Yeah, so that'll sprout out, and again, right now sun and water are its best friends.
Okay.
If you see how wet that this is,
Yeah.
you want to keep it like that.
Okay. So when it gets about, when should I put it into? When it gets up here, I should put it into a pot.
Yeah, so there's like right now you saw the root went down and wrapped a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's going to do the same thing within a week or two. Then I would probably move it into a bigger pot or out into the ground somewhere. Then you just got to defend against squirrels.
Yeah. Thank you.
So
I will definitely do my best to defend against the
all
army
three
of
challenges,
squirrels.
and again we hope to have a launch concert here in mid-August. We'll be reaching out to you once we get a venue squared away, and can't wait to see you live. I know we missed connecting last year and a couple of your performances this year, but happy to share one of my passions, and I'm glad that you shared one of yours with me. So.
Man, I will definitely keep you updated on this, man.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Let me take my sorry. Let me take my glove off. There we go.
Hey,
Thank you, bro.
man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.